Hello everybody, it's Mike Levin on Code with Mike Friday, and when last we left off I showed you how easy it was to pull down the 20 megabyte download and get yourself a little Pipulate Levinux server that'll host a little web page right from your desktop and do the same on Ubuntu and Windows. And I think now that I'm moving on to the next tutorial, I'll spare my machine a little bit of memory and go into the virtual machine library and suspend these two machines. Otherwise, we could get messages during this tutorial. So I had already hit number 1 on the Mac instance and built this into a Pipulate server, which normally should get Pipulate running on localhost. Instead of 8080, it's 8888. You can remember 8888 to Pipulate. But I did some architectural changes that change that by changing the command to get things running from Python space pipulate.py to Python space webpipulate.py, now that we have the web serving behavior and the scheduling behavior. And I thought I would show you how to fix that now. There's a few steps here because this is in GitHub and I just downloaded this with a quick download link. I really should do it in the real cloned repository, commit and push back up. But for the sake of a quick demo, I'm just going to show you where this file is in the Levinux folder. I'd already expanded these, but you go in and you can look however you like. Here's larger icons. This gives you a better sense of where things are. You expand the reset folder, and then you expand the server folder. And there's a file in there called recipe.sh, which defines the server build. And you can open it with whatever tool you like. I'm going to use text edit, just the built-in one on the Mac. And then you'll be able to see the command. Let's see if I search on Python. We'll see all the different instances. Oh, well, it's not actually this file, because the first build doesn't actually turn it into a Pipulate server. It's the second build that does that, which is found under ingredients. And just like there's a recipe.sh for the default server that gets built, there is a pipulate.sh for the Pipulate server that gets built. And we will send that to text edit. And likewise, we'll search on the word Python. And there we go. There's going to be a few instances. We're looking for the one where pipulate.py follows it. And there you go. No hup, Python, pipulate.py. So all I do is I change this to webpipulate. I save it. And now if I were to rebuild the Pipulate server, it would actually work. But I know the command that's going to get executed every time. So all I have to do is copy this. I can see that I'm CD'd into home TC Pipulate, so I should do the same thing here. Oh, well, how do I do the same thing here? I could exit to login, but it's always much better to get a terminal window and then follow the little instructions I put here. SSH TC at localhost -P for port 2222. SSH TC at localhost port 2222. And it asks for the password, which you can see there in purple is foo. And here we are in the server. I can ls and I can pwd to ensure that I'm in the right location, /home/tc. So all we have to do is cd into Pipulate ls. Okay. From this location now, I can just paste that command that I copied out of text edit, hit enter, and now I'll give it a few seconds because this is a very humble little QEMU virtual server running on your desktop. It's not nearly as optimized as, say, VMware Fusion. But nonetheless, you give it a few seconds and you now have the Pipulate application actually running from the virtual machine. And you can see I already have a Pipulate bookmarklet here. If I were to click that, it would come up, but you can see it's being hosted from pipulate.com. Let's just get rid of that bookmarklet and drag the one from here. Now if you pull it up, you can see Same thing being served from localhost 8888. So this tutorial gives you a little bit of insight as to the scripts that get everything running and how you get your own server running right on your desktop, whether it's a Mac, Ubuntu, or Windows machine, so that you can start picking it apart and start getting that same experience you get when you have real hardware under your control, which is exactly where I'm bringing all of you for some Raspberry Pi or Qbox tutorials, or even the cloud. Point is, hands-on experience, lots of control, and start to see how a server actually gets built so that you understand how these things all get architected and glued together. So on my next step, I will actually be upgrading Levinux from Tiny Core Linux 5.4, which is the current one, to I believe it's 6.1. So we just go Tiny Core Linux, Google it, go in here, and you can see, yes, 5.4 was the last version. That's what Levinux is currently based on, and I am going to upgrade it to 6.1 in the next video and show you nearly remastering. You can keep all the Levinux files in location, but you just download this. I'm tempted to do it right here in this video. Pull some files out of the archive, drop them in position in Levinux, upgrade it. So thanks for joining me. Hope to see you when I do that on the next video, and don't forget to subscribe.